am giving you my top 10 kayak camping tips. Now the sixth tip is when you're loading your kayak, make sure to do it as close to the water's edge as possible. A loaded kayak is really heavy. It's a pain to get into the water if you've loaded it on the land. Don't be lazy, don't worry about the cold toes, and load your boat in the water or as close to the water as possible. The next tip is to make sure you pull your kayak up far enough so that if the water level changes, it's not going to go anywhere. You're way better off dragging or carrying your kayak further up the bank than you need. And I even tie the kayak off to a tree just so that even if the water did come up more than I ever thought it could, it ain't going anywhere. Next tip is to do a bit of a refresher course. There's a lot of value relearning something that you've already learned to make sure it's there when you need it. And when you're in the backcountry, you might really need some knowledge or skills. Take the time to learn new things, but also to refresh your memory on things that you should know and should be at the tip of your tongue when you're, it should just be reactionary when you're in the backcountry. Now, some quick gear tips. For flat water trips in particular, consider using a paddle with smaller blades if you're going to be doing big days of paddling. It'll be easier on your shoulders. You may not be as fast, you may not have as much power, but it can be easier on your body. Another piece of gear that I would recommend is a folding saw versus an axe. Packs down really nice and is lighter as well. And the third gear tip is consider trying a hammock. A couple of key benefits for a kayak, the hammock packs down really into a bunch of small different pieces, and it makes packing the kayak easier than a tent. But one of the things I loved the most was the fact that I didn't have to get on my hands and knees to scramble into or out of the tent. That means more these days than it used to. Next tip is to double check the weather. That's a good thing to do before your trip, but it's also a good thing to do on your trip. It isn't the temperature and rain forecast so much, but more importantly, the wind. The wind can have a profound impact on whether it's safe to paddle or whether it's even worth paddling, or are you gonna make any progress at all. And the last tip relates to dry bags. Dry bags are a key part of any kayak camping trip. Even if your kayak has watertight hatches, they're not waterproof. Anything that goes in your kayak, in the hatches, you have to expect that it can get wet. And that's why if it can't get wet, it needs to be in a dry bag. I also, and it's a good rule to follow, you want to use more smaller dry bags versus fewer bigger dry bags. That just gives you more packing options in a kayak.